You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 124, Feisty Jim and his Wicked Worm.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the Dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that is from an echo of our universe that is vaguely similar but different in key ways. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm alternate reality Raven Perez.
Welcome back to another episode of the Savage FINcast, the only internet's only podcast about Erik Larson and his creation, Paul Dragon. As Raven says, we're kind of in a AU right now where things are similar but different, and
right.
You know, Raven's got a mustache, and I'm bald, and not sure. Craig probably hates music.
Yeah,
possibly.
hates concerts. Never would go to
it.
one.
Yeah, music is just background noise.
You know, we're not evil versions. We're more
And I love video games. Absolutely, talk to me all day about video games.
You're out of
Can't
luck,
wait.
bro, because I fucking hate video games.
You guys are crazy.
Now, Jim, you've got some kids, though, don't you?
Yeah, I got several, like hundreds, thousands.
You
all
mate like an ant.
those girls I bang.
Raven, do you like indie comics yet, or are you still a huge Marvel fan?
Listen, dude, I'm sorry, but indie's just lower quality. It's not good. Like, you don't have, like, the pro level that you have at Marvel. And I just wish that all those indie books would go away so that there'd be more room for all the great Marvel comics that we don't have room for. I really need, like, Moon Knight and Devil Girl to cross over.
Right.
With Wolverine and Deadpool.
I like that you called her Devil Girl. You're so out of the Moon Boy loop.
This is another universe, Jim. If you talk to any of your thousands of children, they would know. I hate your wit and observation.
But unfortunately, you know, the old reality bleeds through. We've got to do some news from that reality.
Erik with a C. Larson has some interesting news for us, doesn't
No,
he?
not Erik. Erik with a C. Larson.
Yeah.
Spelled with an N. Spelled with
Larson
an A.
with an O.
Larson.
Yeah, with an O, yeah. Erik with the C, Larson with an O has some incredible news for us, I believe.
Let's jump into it. It's been pretty incredible how many new preview covers we've seen this new year, going from two or three comics last year to being on quite a roll this year.
Well, I think
Erik,
Gavin or somebody said that Savage Dragon's been monthly for 4 months now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So Savage Dragon 267, Erik Larson, just as of this recording today. Was it today? Was it today or yesterday? He released
today.
Across the international
today.
dateline.
Released the cover to Savage Dragon 267. It's going to be a triple-sized 30th anniversary special, which is crazy. Listed as $10, and the cover has got Angel Murphy and Fred Darling apparently getting married. So it's got Paul and Malcolm and the whole cast kind of celebrating the marriage with a little invite blurb on there. You get your choice of the super spectacular DC looking cover, which he's done before in the past, that shows like 100 big pages or whatever, or the Image Comics Group faux Marvel cover like we typically get. And then a third cover so far that he's released is our good friend Simon Mollet-Pierre, who many of you have seen his backups in Savage Dragon. You saw his stuff in the Freak Force special with the Candyman, which was such a great story.
Super Freak special.
What did I say? Did I say
Freak
Super
Force?
Oh, jeez, I always do that. Super
It's
Freaks,
a different dimension. It's hard.
yes. Alternate dimension. We did a Freak Force special. The Super Freak special. But yeah, he's got his own cover, which is pretty dang cool. I love seeing, Savage Dragon fans getting showcased in Savage Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see it, go on Erik Larson's Facebook page and check him out.
Yeah, what do you guys, when you see this cover, you fucking hype for this wedding? We always know, Savage Dragon fans know weddings typically don't go so good in the Savage Dragon universe.
Paul's did.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yep, nothing came out of Lake Michigan to eat them.
No one gives a shit about Paul, though. Remember? Like, he's just on the beach getting married, and, like, Malcolm doesn't even show up, and it's just like, whatever. like, Alex gets married to Paul, and it just totally goes off without a hitch. That's got to feel like a little bit of an insult.
Indeed. Where are all the Image characters? Popular Image supervillains crashing the party.
They took one look at Paul's little fin and said, nope. I'm out.
I can tell you, I do really like this cover for it just being like a wedding cover. I don't know.
It's like a romance comic cover. It's nice.
It's pink.
It is pink.
It's just really well laid out. I don't know. It's just a really good job.
Although Erik was having some, I was going to say frustrations, but he was having some questions about reservations about where to put that wedding invitation. As it is.
Yeah, so the cover's got the faux invite kind of slapped onto it, and it does take up some real estate.
I think he should print up some real invitations and bag them with comics.
You did pose that. I could not believe that came from you. Your.
I'm only against variant covers. I'm not against crap being bagged with comics.
I have to say,
absolutely ridiculous.
It is preposterous that you would be in favor.
I was shocked that you said that. I was like, what? Talk about alternate reality. You were the last person I would have expected to say that.
Yeah.
Why? Is it because of anti-variant cover? Is that's the reason?
Exactly.
Weird, because I am not against stuff being bagged with comics. I like.
I guess I just assumed you were anti-gimmick.
Yeah, like don't you think
it is a gimmick. No, I'm not. I'm not anti-gimmick. I'm anti buying two copies of the same fucking comic.
Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed you were anti-gimmick. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was anti-gimmick. I thought you were just like, fuck these tricks.
Like, I get digital. I just want to read the comic. I don't.
That's true. It's not like I would actually get the invitation. Although I might actually, to be fair, I might pay $15 to get that issue to get the invitation.
So and buy two, one you could open and feel the invitation.
Oh no, I'd rip that bag open and shred it right on camera for YouTube and say, "Watch this, slabbers."
Slabbers, I love it.
I'd be like Steve Rogers in Age of Ultron when he rips that log in half.
This is a good gym. We got the good gym tonight.
Slabbers always ruin shit.
Slabbers is the best insult, dude. Makes them sound so
Slabber
stupid.
knocker.
Slabbers. Fucking slabbers. I'm slabbergasted. Oh, that's fantastic.
It's a great cover, and I'm glad we get to see it. 267, what are we on, 264? It's only 3 issues away. Holy shit.
Simon's cover is fantastic, too, while we're talking these up.
Of course, you gotta love Erik making the big triple-size 30th anniversary issue 267. Because it's 267. What the fuck?
Dude, I'm telling you, call back to the early days of Savage Dragon when you just get a 100-page issue for no reason.
No reason.
I guess we should mention that there's no there was no chatter on what's in the issue. Like, I'm assuming it, obviously a full length Erik Larson
that was my
story
next thought.
But,
yeah. What is the contents of this triple-sized issue? What secrets?
Are you guys a bit worried? Like, it feels like we've been on a roll that, things are going to get jammed up with a triple-sized issue.
Yes.
I mean, he's probably not drawing all of it, so I'm sure.
Sometimes it's worse because things don't come in.
Trying to think what's relevant that could be reprinted in there.
I will say that I am that was the first. The first thing I thought was, "Fuck yeah, Frank!" You got to log down those knockers. The second thing I thought was, "Oh no, dude, who's gonna slow this one up?"
I mean,
I hope nobody. Yeah.
I mean, Angel doesn't really have any antagonists. I mean,
no, we're talking about collaborators slowing up the issue.
Oh, I don't know, man. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I'm worried a little bit. Like, we're on such a roll. I feel like these anniversary issues kind of jam things up when he's waiting for stuff or whatever, and it's like it gets away from him.
Oh yeah, and this is the 30th anniversary of the ongoing series, not Savage Dragon itself. That's why it's coming out this year and not last year.
I'm pretty sure he said that he's just doing this as a catch-up because he didn't do it last year. I'm almost like 99% sure I read that comment. That if last year had gone the way that it should have, that this would have hit last year.
Maybe you should have slapped the Image 30-year logo on it.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
What are you guys hoping for some of these extras in here?
Like I said, I can't think of anything that hasn't that because usually these things have the main story, a backup, and a reprint, and I can't think of any like reprints recently that that are likely.
I'm ready to see at least a page of Adam Pruitt Funny's back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Feels like it's been a while since we saw a page of that.
I wouldn't mind seeing like another North Force adventure or something, but I wonder if that's all coming to a close because he's leaving Canada.
This issue is after the move to San Francisco, or at least the San Francisco cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's a little like North Force just fucking dies on the way back to Earth with Captain Tootsie.
Maybe a separate Paul adventure or something.
Separate Paul adventure would be fantastic, dude.
Just got a separate Paul adventure.
Revisit Vanguard.
It could be a Vanguard backup. Could be find out what's going on with him and all his buddies out in space. I mean, we haven't seen them in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, Freak Force. They're kind of hanging around somewhere.
Even like Rock and the SOS. I mean, we could have there's been a lot of awesome characters on the sidelines.
Right.
Even if you had like it
seems like they're going to come back out because there was talk about Malcolm heading up that division there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm saying there could be some of that as a backup,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd like to see it. There's a lot of characters where we haven't really gotten much out of, like Crusader and Destroyer, Mark and Paul, those brothers. I don't know. There's quite a few characters which I think could use the spotlight.
The Janey twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That whole gang.
Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't think we were going to be getting one.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like Jim says, though. It's like I can't think of any backups either or any stories that have been printed somewhere else that would be reprinted. So to me, it's new kind of backups, and I'm just wondering who's doing it and what they are. I guess we'll just have to wait, but it is kind of right around the corner. This isn't like a year out. This is, 267, 3 issues out, like Jim said.
Right, yeah.
So we'll probably see this at end of May, early June.
Theoretically months away.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's been working right along on this, so.
I'll say this. I will say this. As dense as this Paul issue was, I feel like he's had shit going on the back burner. And even if he wasn't able to, like, get to it, I feel like he probably all last year was thinking about shit. Mm-hmm. So he probably has in mind what he wants to do for this. Or at least he's had a year to think about it, is what I'm saying. It's not like he's just, like, flying by the seat of his pants, like, all right, triple size, and, like, has no idea. Like, he probably has ideas.
Right.
Shall we move along?
Yeah, let's do it.
Next up on our news, Erik posted to Facebook that a Paul Dragon adventure was retrieved. Angel-fueled quake. Of course, Finheads have read this story before. It's not new. It's not unpublished. It's not even that he hasn't been able to get this back into print. But what is new is getting the original art back. Here's the story in his own words. 39 years ago, I wrote and drew this story for a book Paul Curtis was publishing called, if memory serves, Plenty-O Comics. It never came out. Paul never returned the art, which, as it turns out, was a good thing. Paul recently passed away, and his sister, Maggie Thompson, reached out to me to see if I wanted it back. I most certainly did. It's one of the few surviving Dragon comics. The others were all destroyed in the East Bay firestorm in 1991. What an absolute thrill it is to receive this in the mail. The art is so tiny. I should add, I had photocopies of the art previously, and I've already printed the story 3 times in Dragon 5, Savage Dragon Archives, the comic, not the trade paper books, trade paperbacks, number 4, and Savage Dragon 189. So again, it's not like this is going to be some unseen treasure. We've seen it. But what's cool is that he got this back, and it's like some of the only Dragon comics, like Paul Dragon comics, that exist. So that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, because I bet you they could have got some big money on, eBay or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you know what it is? It's a total barn car situation. Like, those pages were just sitting around, not moving, and then boom, they're retrieved.
It is interesting. He showed photos of the original art. It's done almost comic strip style on what I'm guessing is just standard letter size paper, sideways, and then you stack 2 on top of each other to make a whole page. Yeah, I wonder if that was the format of that Plenty-O Comics thing. It was more like a. But he puts them side by side with the latest issue of Savage Dragon, and put together the art size isn't any bigger than like a U.S. standard comic size, so it's not even close to A3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting from that standpoint too.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't doing the thing where pros work, like upsize and then scale it down. Right. Like he wasn't doing that. He was just drawing it like 1-to-1. It's cool, man. It's fucking cool. Like I said, a little piece of history that just dropped in his lap, and he never anticipated it. And like he said, in this way, like the way that it happened, here's these Paul Dragon stories that survived the fire.
Well, he must not. Crazy. I never thought about it, but he must not have the original art to any of those other Paul Dragon stories that we've seen printed before.
It's kind of the way it seems.
This must be all he has, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And these pages are in really good condition, at least based on the photos.
Yeah, they're a little yellowed, but otherwise, I think the most yellowing's in like Zipatone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's funny that Don Simpson was complaining about how Zipatone turns yellow and cracks, and that it kind of ruined his original Megaton Man. And he's like, I just, wish that I hadn't used it, now that I see how good digital Zipatone is. He's like, I wish I just had my original art clean. And then you see these like Paul Dragon stories from, good Lord, who knows how long ago. And the Zippotone, while yellow, is still pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, this shit must have been kept in, like, I don't know, like locked away, like away from light and like, you know, I don't know. It's just amazing, really.
So that's a great feel-good story. But I think moving on, we should talk about, we got some letters in. People heard my cross voice in the last episode and responded.
You're like a dog instructor, really. Sit!
Just a quick reminder, our old FINteresting Conversation went as such. If Malcolm and family leave Canada behind, what would you like to see happen to the rest of the cast? So we pose that to our listeners, and let's see what kind of responses we got. So we got Ken Albury writes, "Hey guys, my immediate response to the question concerning what should become of all the supporting SD characters located in Canada is that they can stay put, with the exception of family or family adjacent characters. I think it would be quite the challenge to find motivation and means to move too many characters along with Malcolm and Maxine and the kids. I suspect Paul and Alex might go, which I would prefer. Kevin and Mei Ling should go as well. Heck, Kevin should be on the new team. Everyone else can stick around north of the border. It's a known trope, but the auditioning of potential new team members is always fun. It's been a long while since we saw Dragon interviewing the SOS hopefuls. As much as I love the supporting cast, I am spoiled and want new, exciting characters dripping with humor, straight-ass badassery, or a combination of both. I'm pretty excited to see who we meet once the crew arrives in Cali, as I grew up just a few hours south of San Fran. It's going to be great seeing settings I'm familiar with." And that was, of course, from Ken Albury. So, yeah, Ken says, everyone stay home. Captain Tootsie, get the fuck out of here. Walter, die in a snowbank.
I do kind of agree. Like, I hope we do get some like new characters out of it, though. Like some new like guys that stick around. You know what I mean? Like, it's always kind of a treat to get new supporting cast.
Yeah, Canada was good. If you think about it, like in terms of like supporting cast, we got some really cool characters out of Canada. As much as I would be very sad to see them all just, you know, stay up north like he's suggesting, I am really excited to see what Erik does with San Francisco.
See, I disagree, although I personally think that characters like Walter, Greta, and Captain Tootsie are quote-unquote Dragon family characters now, and I think they should stick around. Although, specifically those three, I mean, North Force obviously can stay behind.
Right. Do you think Tootsie's enough of a globetrotter?
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking science hero.
Okay.
He's got a spaceship. He's got a bunch of children.
Craig, you were saying?
No, I think it would be a good mix. Like, I like some of those characters, and I want to see some new ones. What's that guy, Jeremiah Youngblood? You think he's going to be sticking around?
Oh,
you know, until he blows up. On the first
Jeremiah Youngblood.
One day before retirement.
Malcolm, you remind me of your father. Just a blood mist and a metal arm.
Shall we jump into the next letter?
Thank you, Ken Albury.
Okay, our next letter is from James Sheehan. He says, "Greetings, FINcasters. Sure is nice to have Savage Dragon back in our hands. I got my son the Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection, and now I believe we have a new fan of the book. He is really enjoying it. I'll cut to the chase on the FINteresting Conversation. I'd like to see the supporting cast stay active in the book and have some subplots created or other events happen to where the cast can be reunited or at least get together from time to time other than funerals. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work. James." So kind of a little bit different there where it looks like it sounds like he wants to see the cast remain active, but more of like just visiting or just events where they get reunited, then maybe I'll move. Is that?
Yeah, I think he's just saying subplots like in Canada.
Yeah. I wonder how old his son is. He's into the Ultimate Collection. Hopefully he's not too young as the issues go up.
I know Big Jim, and he's raising his kids on like Preacher and The Boys, so they'll be fine. Yeah, they'll be fine.
How old are his kids? You know,
he's got
maybe you can't give that information out.
I'll just say he's got a fucking lot of kids. He's like George Foreman. And there's like several gyms. Like he's got a lot of kids, so it's like it could be anything. It could be like a little kid where you're like, oh no. It could be like a kid that's like old enough to drink. Like it could be anything. So yeah, if you feel like clarifying, Big Jim, you let us know.
Yeah, it's about accurate.
Moving right along. Friend of the show, Greg Aubrey writes, "Hi guys, this is a bit of an unusual correspondence, but I've got something to share with y'all for the practice, experience, and the sheer hell of it. I downloaded and did a practice edit on episode 123. Thought I'd share it with you. My partner and I are going to start podcasting, and I wanted to grab some raw audio. Try it out. If you like the file, you're more than welcome to use it as a re-upload. Funny part is, I still haven't read Ant number 6 yet, although I listened to you guys talk about it at length several times over. I'll get to it eventually. Like the rest of you, I'm super meh on Ant so far. I want to like it more than I actually do. Some of the art is great, the color work is pretty neat, but I'm not dying to read my copy from month to month. In any case, I'm glad you guys are out there every month doing the work. Now, go find me a juice harp. Greg
I might be sick of that now. Never again.
Sick of the juice harp? How dare you?
I want a juice harp to play at my funeral. Amazing Grace on a juke part.
Our next Savage FINcast episode intro will be on the juice harp.
You can handle that one, Craig. You've always wanted to be in the Savage Dragon intro.
Yes.
Hey, look, another letter. Hey there, guys. First off, I would like to see Angel, Rita, Walter, and Freak Force join the team, which I would think is a given, but I would also like to see if Powerhouse can somehow join the team. I also think that Kevin should retire and live the rest of his life being a family man in Canada. Somebody needs a happy ending. As a side note for me, ska started in '94 with Sublime. It pains me that Craig does not like the band for one or two songs that kept playing on the radio. I will be removing my Craig Olsen poster from my wall now. JK. Love the show and keep up the awesome job, guys. And that comes from Andre Reese.
So, yeah, sorry. Ska did not start in '94 with Sublime.
Well,
Sublime still sucks.
Ska didn't start with Sublime. Ska Punk started with Sublime.
No, get out of here. No.
Guys, he said for me. He had the...
I know.
Can I just say he had the qualifier?
But I'm still saying he's wrong.
He's wrong
Ska
about what
Punk.
started for him.
Ska Punk does not start with Sublime, Jim. We're going to have to...
So wait a minute, Craig. You tell us where it started.
Yeah, you would know.
You ever hear Operation Ivy?
I haven't.
It wouldn't start there either, but there it's way before Sublime, and they're huge. Went on to become...
I've never heard of them.
Members of Rancid and influence bands like Green Day and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
But
cool.
that was way before.
Worth
Sublime.
looking. Yeah, it says 98. I mean, 88. So, yeah, you're right.
Good Lord, they splintered off into like Green Day and Rancid.
I mean, ska in general. I mean, bands like the Specials and stuff like that. But I mean, whatever. I don't want to get into it. Someone else can always one up me too, but Sublime is not. It's garbage.
Well, yes. I mean, we don't disagree that Sublime is garbage.
That's
Sublime. Not the question.
I like Sublime.
It's okay. You can like it. Anyone can like anything. I'm just being a grumpy old... Let's move on.
Sublime is when it's sold out, is what you would say, right?
No, I wouldn't say that either.
Okay.
I just No.
So you do practice Santeria?
Yes.
And you do have a crystal ball?
I do. I
You
actually
had $1
saw
million.
Can I say I saw Sublime play live
And?
before the guy died?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, and they sucked or something like that.
No, I just didn't pay attention to him.
I don't know their history. Their lead singer died.
Yeah, before they even really got big.
Yeah, I'm noticing they actually only have 3 albums, which surprised me because I thought they were a bigger deal than they are.
He OD'd, and the thing is that like when their music videos, this is how I remember when their music videos hit, and these were the 2 songs that made them big. He was a fucking like blue ghost. They took old footage and like made it blue.
Yeah.
Oh.
For his parts, and like I was like, "What's up with that?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's fucking dead." And I was like,
"Oh, he's already died." They recorded the album, he died, and they did the music videos with him as a ghost.
Yeah. Like, weird. They just were like, well, shit, we got to make these music videos. And so they just, like, had him, old footage of him, and they just made it blue because it's, like, fucking 1994.
Right, I saw them. No, because I saw them at the first Warped Tour, so I think that was 95. And I remember watching them, but not really paying attention because I didn't know who they were.
What I Got was their big song, right?
Yeah, love is what I got. And then there was the other one, the wrong way, that one. And then Santeria. Yeah. There's the 3. Those are the 3 songs.
I see.
Yeah, I don't practice Santeria.
Also, I'm saying, sorry, I'm getting all fired up thinking about these things. I'm saying like punk ska, like way before Op Ivy 2, The Clash was playing that kind of stuff.
What was the Clash ska, though? I thought they were just punk.
No, but they did play some ska, reggae. This whole ska movement started, was English guys listening to reggae in the late 70s, maybe early 70s, maybe early 70s. I'm probably wrong on that.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah.
So when the punks got into it in the late 70s, they brought over some, and Clash definitely has some ska songs. They weren't a ska band, but they have some ska songs.
I see.
How does this relate to Ska Pilgrim?
Yes.
I would read Ska Pilgrim.
Okay, I think we've bored everyone.
Too bad it doesn't exist. All right, I think that's all our letters. So now we get to do our new FINteresting Conversation.
I gotta say, listeners,
my co-host shot down my idea of doing a who do we ship together is getting married in the futures, but I think we got a decent one instead.
Yeah, Hortus's corpse and Abner Cadaver. That's my pick.
Yes,
but
stitch them together.
Just stitch. Did they just kiss and the laces tie their lips together? So the real question that we came up with. Issue 264, it's somewhat of a standalone character showcase for Paul Dragon. So we just want to know.
Really unique as far as Savage Dragon issues go in terms of it doesn't have any framing. It's just, this is an issue about Paul's history. This is a history lesson.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere.
And we've had similar scenes like this, I'd say, with other characters. But we've never had an entire issue dedicated to one character. So
especially if you want to say showcase, we're really putting the emphasis on this as a character showcase, because Savage Dragon also doesn't really dwell on flashbacks for long, long periods of time. This whole issue is a flashback. So, who would you like to see get their own showcase issue in a similar vein of 264? Fellas? Who wants to go first?
I don't, because I don't have anybody.
Not Raven.
I mean, I can if you want. You want me to go?
Go first, Raven.
Yes.
So, character I would absolutely love to see get a showcase would be our man Fonte.
Okay.
Especially after this issue. And I know that would be a mostly new showcase, since there's actually not a lot of Fonte, not a lot of meat on the Fonte bones.
I mean, Fonte is like a semi-immortal character. I mean, he's probably had thousands of years of history.
I mean, dude, that's the implication.
And there's and in the Savage world, he like disappears, so he could be somewhere now. Even now, he could be out having adventures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, it's very hinted at. He's like, he chooses champions for Earth, and he is constantly at, battle with the fucking wicked worm. And it's just like
I'm always battling my wicked worm, too. Sorry. That was crude, and I apologize.
No, dude.
Feisty Jim.
Do not
always
ever,
a great episode. Always.
Do not ever apologize. Oh, it's good. Yeah, dude. So, yeah, basically, Fonty is my pick. I know that might not necessarily be, like, a flashback, but I'm going to open it up to the concept that a character showcase doesn't have to be much retread. It could be a lot of new. It just be a focus on one character. Yes.
I'm actually having a hard time coming up with one because, so you gotta have a character who has like a period of time in their lives that you can really like go in depth on that you haven't already seen a good chunk of through standard Savage Dragon storytelling.
Yeah, that's where I'm like,
but it's only 20 pages, so
right. But like some of my favorite when they do get flashbacks, like I love seeing young Malcolm in the old Image universe, which we have seen occasionally crop up. But I don't know if you want to dedicate an entire issue like that.
I'm gonna say Baby Boom. Is that the guy, the big infant that floats?
Yes, Baby Boom. Baby the Adventures.
I'm just kidding. No. How about Chief Renfeather, that Indian guy from Freak
the
Force?
Comic strip?
No. Yeah, no. Kidding.
Really?
No. I would say Super Tough, maybe. If you want to talk about like a guy that's been around different generations.
Yeah.
He's still in the book.
He's still alive, too. So he's...
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, I feel like... I don't know. It was a really tough one. If it was anyone, probably Super Tough, maybe, because there's a lot of like different time periods and stuff you could go through.
Yeah, dude, a Super Tough showcase would be full of like interesting potential. Yeah, man, that's a good one. Good pick, Jim.
I'm having a really hard time picking. Super Tough was a really good pick, by the way, because he's exactly the kind of character you'd want to put a spotlight on. I don't know why you'd want to put a spotlight on him, but you could put a spotlight on him.
Yeah, I'm not saying I particularly want to, but if I had,
I suppose Captain Tootsie would be a good candidate.
Yeah, that would.
That he would.
Captain Tootsie has, a lot of background, a lot of history that, although does sort of exist in his old comic books and comic strips and such, hasn't been like fully like explored through the Savage Dragon lens.
He's only had like 2 comics, and the rest were like little ads.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
Tootsie's a real good one.
So I'm going to say Captain Tootsie is going to be my pick for a whole 20-page history lesson.
He was a space adventurer, so he's going all around different planets.
Yeah, space adventure, science hero. He's got connection to all those other public domain characters in Savage Dragon.
Man, that's a good last-minute save there, Feisty Jim.
Indeed.
Yeah, you really pulled a good one.
Sorry, everyone. I think we took the 3 good ones. So you're going to have a lot harder time.
I don't know, man. I think if you had a lot of time to think about it, you could pull some more out. Well, they can do it.
What's Rock been up to these last few decades?
Well, I mean, when you write in your question...
Oh, God damn it. I'm a fucking moron.
Oh?
I should have went with Neutron Bob. Give me the history of Neutron Bob. Let me learn about why his mother is so terrifying.
And you do have 2 different like universes to work with.
That's true. But I really kind of only want to know about the Savage world, because the previous version of Bob is just kind of just a supervillain. Whereas Bob in this universe is a lot more like interesting things going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to make good, as Dragon told him to. But last we saw, was he human? We haven't seen him in like 10 years. I got to find out if he was still human then. Bring Bob back.
It's been a long time.
Start a writing-in campaign.
Bring back Bob.
Bring him back for SOS, please. For God's sakes, give me Bob.
Bringbackbob.com.
Oh, damn it.
Do not start taking them all, man.
Yeah.
Think of the listeners.
Where's my 20-page history of the Seeker?
That's a good one. You just took that.
That is a good one.
That was mine. I stole all 3 of them. Sorry, guys. I'll have to do better.
He's making it hard. He's like, he goes from, I think we took the 3 best ones, and then he just rattles like 3 more.
Good ones, too. Oh, wait a minute, Bob. Oh, wait a minute, Seeker. Oh, wait a minute. It's like, God damn it.
And it's okay.
Hey.
They can do like Bloop or Earth Woman, Earth Girl.
Melvin Mouse.
Indeed. There's all kinds of choices.
I mean, there really literally is what's funny, is like readers can really go off.
Yeah.
Hey, readers, when you write into this, like, don't just say, I want to see, a showcase of like, Powerhouse. Explain why. Like, kind of elaborate a little bit, like what you would hope for it to get into. That way you can make it a little more interesting. That way if 2 people pick, like, I want to see, Brenda Funk. We can get why, like, from each guy. It might be different there. So write into us, Craig. Don't we have an email?
Savage FINcast at gmail.com.
Beautiful. Who did you sleep with at Google to get us that email address?
I just I had the foresight of locking that in. No, that wasn't me. I think that was our pal Feisty Jim.
Jim.
What about me?
Jobs all around.
Who'd you plow to get us that Gmail?
Not Steve Jobs.
That's Apple.
Okay. Yeah, but this is an alternate universe.
Oh, okay.
Come on, keep our lore straight.
Right. You know what I'm hungry for?
What are you hungry for?
I'm just absolutely famished for some potatoes and meat.
Chicken dumplings?
Chicken dumplings. I was like, should I make a whole new thing or should I just like swap?
Veggie burgers.
Human flesh.
I'm really ready to get into the did you say human flesh? Yeah, I'd really like to have some cat and dog meat right now.
Gross.
They're not pets in our world. We like snakes and spiders as pets. Ugh, cats and dogs.
All right,
they give me
let's
wills.
get into this. This is getting out of hand.
So,
Hey,
I want to get
guys.
into it.
hey guys, what
We've
Raven?
been waiting for this.
Are you ready to have all of Paul's secrets revealed?
I am. I'm finally ready.
At last.
It is at last. Because as soon as we saw this cover, it's actually been a long fucking time, hasn't it?
I feel like it was like the middle of last year.
Yeah, what a cock tease. We have been getting edged for months, like a half a year. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know what to fucking expect. But man,
Edging is a natural high.
But this thing surpassed it. I'm just saying, this thing surpassed the expectations.
I knew it was gonna be fun.
It really did in a lot of ways, because I didn't expect it to be cover to cover. I expected it to feature prominently, but I didn't realize it was just going to be this.
Yep. I thought it was going to be like Malcolm was going to walk in and see Paul like sitting at a table. And
all right, asshole.
Like, I remember.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, we're going to settle this once and for all. I need all your secrets revealed. No, dude. Instead, we get this like fucking one of a kind so far in 30 years character showcase issue with no real setup, no real precedent. It's just like you flip the page and were you expecting the burning field?
I wasn't. I was not expecting the burning field, but you know what? You gotta love a good recurring motif. And it is a Dragon thing and not a Malcolm thing, so you aren't going to see it much going forward, I don't think.
Right.
That's
I was
true.
just, when I saw that, I was like, oh, burning field.
One last time. Until the next time.
One last time.
Dun, 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 dun,
Hey,
dun.
can we just to back up real quick? The cover, I thought there was a real missed opportunity that kind of made me chuckle. Do you remember? I don't know, like if you listeners out there follow the Savage Dragon fan, the Facebook page, the Erik Larson Savage Dragon page. There's a PDF I put together, which was a copy from the old forums where Erik gave the oral history of Paul Dragon, like 20 years ago, where he kind of put down all his thoughts that he could remember from his old comics that burnt in the fire. And it's just funny because remember he talked about like his ongoing title of his comic was Sergeant Marvel's Greatest Comics, and then someone shit on it because it said it sounded like Marvel. Dude, how funny would it have been on the B covers instead of the Image Comics Presents? It would have said like Sergeant Marvel's Greatest Comics Presents or something.
Now, I fucking love that kind of like alternate reality, like bullshit. I love that. But you can completely understand from a completely marketing reason why that would be a terrible idea.
No, I know, but it would have been funny.
It would have been fucking amazing.
It would have been incredible. Yeah.
I love the idea of doing an alternate universe story and like completely dripping the issue out and like all these not anachronisms because it's not really anachronistic, but it is like it's like you've stepped into an alternate universe. You've picked up the 264th issue of the Paul Dragon comic book rather than the Savage Dragon comic book.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yes.
The best thing about this issue to me is that he didn't even try to like clean it up in a way. Like if you read his oral history of Paul Dragon that from his memories, like it's pretty much a straight adaptation of like his childhood comics. Like no trying to clean it up in any way.
And there's a bit of like there is some convoluted concepts here that took me a couple times to figure out. And I think that's the best part about it. Because it does seem like the kind of thing a child would write. But, of course, it's executed by a grown man.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys 100%. Like, when I was reading this and you see the Incredible Hulk moment where, like, he gets stronger and angrier. Like, he gets stronger as he gets angrier. I just was like, yes! Because I just was afraid he was actually going to try to, like, you know, kind of shy away from that. Dude, he totally embraced it. Totally embraced it.
I love that there's 3 versions of Dragon running around in this comic.
Oh, that one page, that one panel.
Which is exactly how his comics were written, which he said, like, in this oral history that you know, and again, listeners, if you want to read the oral history from 20 years ago that Erik gave, it's on the media section of the Erik Larson Facebook page. But, you know, someone in that oral history, when there was like a questions and answers, and they're like, I think it's crazy that 3 versions of dragons are running around in his old books, you know, and they are. It's exactly how it's written in here.
What's really crazy is I didn't realize that original Dragon, Needlenose Flash Mercury, isn't Paul Dragon. He's a completely separate character.
Right. It's like Kid Erik just kind of was like, all right, I don't want to do that anymore, and just made a new guy, but just kind of kept him in the continuity.
Right, yeah. Just kept the old guy.
Like, he liked the concept of a character called Dragon that, I don't know, and just kept redoing it.
There's a real, like, classic comic sort of thing, because you'll have your Golden Age guy who's a real weirdo, like Flash Mercury, and then you'll have your modern you'll have your Silver Age guy who's the William Johnson version, who's the big dude in the costume, and then you have your modern version who's Paul, who's a green guy with a fin on his head,
like a mutant.
Right, yeah. Dude, it's brilliant. I mean, and it all came from one guy. Like it's like a fucking hyper compressed, like instead of something that took like decades and decades and like tons and tons of collaborators refining what the previous guy did, it's just Erik. It's just Erik looking what he did and being like, nah.
There's a lot he can build on in this too. A lot of open-ended things. Like we never find out where Paul came from originally. He somehow it makes it out to be that he entered William. It sounds funny.
Well, let's go through it. Let's go through it. Okay.
We do these page by page.
We started the burning field.
Yeah.
But Paul clearly says, "This is not me.
Him.
This is not me." But the story starts here.
Yeah.
So William Johnson is a reporter who is found in a burning field.
Right.
Who is found by Frank Darling in a very, again, we're going to see a lot of this throughout this issue. There are a lot of callbacks.
Found by Frank Darling, but Frank Darling's there to wake him up and ask him questions.
Oh, of course, yes. We never really find out who actually finds Dragon. We just know that Frank Darling's the first person he meets. Same deal with William here. I do wonder, though, if Frank was always there or if that is something that Erik has retconned in. It'd be interesting to ask him that if we get to talk to him about it, because I'm curious if Frank has always existed, or he decided to just use it as a callback here.
Yeah, I think probably just a callback, but I could be wrong.
But we do get that. We do the repeat. We see history repeating itself, or pre-peating itself, I suppose. Where William's in the bed and he gets the conversation with Frank about having amnesia. We get all the things. We don't get the who's president of the United States question, which you'll notice there really isn't anything in this issue that ties it to any particular period, which I think is Erik's solution to the Ronald Reagan was president problem.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. The real time doesn't 100% exist in Paul's world.
William's found in the field, and he gets chased down by a car, and he discovers he has superpowers.
Yeah, he hulks out. And this is what I was referring to when I said I did not expect the Hulk element to be retained. And yet, when William gets hit by the car, he gets pissed off and starts scrunching the car. And the cool thing is, having just done this reread, this stuff hits in my head like even fresher. Just like the Image Universe William was hounded by his brother.
Yep.
Paul Dragon's William is hounded by his brother. Mm-hmm. Because he fucking grabs that dude out of the car and tells him, he's like, "Did your brother send me?" I was like, "Oh, dude, Ralph Johnson, what?"
So let me ask you a question. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. I was done.
Does the burning field happen before or after the car chase?
Before.
No, I don't think so. Because he's all huge in the burning field, and his shirt's ripped.
He's not that big in the burning field. I think he's got human proportions there. He definitely doesn't have dragon proportions, and he doesn't have dragon.
His shirt is all ripped, though. When he's running, his shirt's not ripped. It doesn't rip until he kind of hulks out.
Right.
So
but this happens. This happens. The running away from the car thing happens after the hospital. After he's gotten out of the hospital.
That's the way I took it too.
He found.
Well,
you're right.
He appears in burning field. He gets found.
Oh, right. You're
talks
right.
to Frank.
It's even got dates. Yeah, June 1st.
I didn't wake up in the hospital on June 1st, and then June 4th he gets.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think he's just human proportioned at this point. I think whatever happened to him allows him to hulk out.
To me, it looks like he's hulked out on that cover. Like he got. But do you think this burning field is the point where the Paul Dragon entity joins with him?
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, the text says he doesn't.
Well,
no. The text says he doesn't remember. He knows
doesn't remember.
Happened.
Yeah.
It's slowly Paul's.
No, it says I didn't wake up in a burning field in my reality. But it started with the burning field. I didn't wake up in the hospital, but I did hear about it. I didn't. So I don't remember.
But it's William. He's mixed with William now. It says it started there. but he doesn't remember it because William's consciousness is still the main consciousness, and then eventually his consciousness takes over.
That's what it is that when it starts, William is dominant.
Right.
But him and Dragon merge. And so I do believe that the burning field is when the dragon entity enters William's body. However, William's still dominant. And so as the story goes on, Dragon emerges as dominant.
Right. Every time he hulks out, per se, he gets the dragon persona kind of until Paul eventually takes over. Which,
again, here's what's a brilliant concept. If you guys remember, that's very similar to what happened with Mighty Man. Where, like, you know how, like, when people who are irresponsible get Mighty Man, they just sort of don't ever turn back.
Right.
Well, they even have the line here in this issue where he's like, you never turn back into Paul. And Dragon's like, why would I? I'm more vulnerable. You know? And so it's the exact same kind of story beat where it's like, you know, there's two people in one body and Dragon kind of doesn't ever want to go back to turning into Paul.
Right.
There's parallels in this. The thing is about this is that there's parallels to so much. It's so fucking cool. It's over the top.
Yeah, because Ralph was a major villain for a few issues in Savage Dragon.
Yes.
The actual...
He kidnapped Rita.
And then, I mean, go ahead, Jim, if you want to take it.
I was just going to say that whole arc with Ralph kind of... Of course, that was during the merge period, right? After issue 50?
There was some of that, yes. Yeah, there was some of that because he gets shot in the head.
That was Erik kind of playing in his old
that whole storyline was itself a callback to this, so it makes sense that this is very familiar.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, the parallels. It's insane because like it's new, but also too it totally parallels what happened in the Image universe. Because that was based on the old comics. It's awesome.
I love this super fantastic hero team.
Yeah.
I like that apparently Fonte gave them these powers.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that a cool wrinkle?
Because who's here? We got Fonte, we got Battle Tank, we got Dragon, Flash Mercury.
There's no Battle Tank. Right?
It's not Battle Tank? Who's the
that
armored?
Silver thing?
Yeah, I think that's Battle Tank.
Oh, is it? Maybe you're right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I know Zeke.
He looks
is
different
the big
as
guy.
you go on. He turns into like a green guy eventually.
Or maybe it does. Okay, pay some more attention.
I'll show you when we get there.
Yeah, Zeke is in the helmet, and Poison Dart's got the mask. Half Man,
is
we
that
finally
Poison
learned.
Dart with a mask?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, huh. Half Man. Yeah, I don't know who those brother and sister looking. Are.
I don't know if we've ever met them. It could be. I was going to say Solar Man, but probably not. He's got the split curl Superman thing going on, so it's probably It's probably a Superman Supergirl thing.
Spit curl man.
Yeah, he's got the little spit curl symbol on his chest.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Well, hold on. Do the copyright info? You know how he does copyrights? Does that have anything in there?
He does that anymore.
Oh, okay. No. Too bad. I was going to say if that had any kind of like hints for us. Was the wiki updated?
No.
Okay.
On the oral history of Paul Dragon that I keep referencing, Erik did say in his early days, Fonte pretty much gave all of his kind of guys the powers. So it was like an easy way to just give everyone powers.
It's also cool because if you, again, narratively want to tie that to kind of like modern continuity, like that's kind of like what Isaiah Stone was doing.
Yep.
Down in Mexico, just handing out powers.
Or the creator, or the other guy that Prism killed, or
yeah, he's had a couple of those power brokers.
Yeah,
the power broker.
Yeah.
Craig, you touched on it though, dude. Super fantastic hero team. Is that not fucking hilarious? I love it, dude. I love that he kept that in.
Yeah.
Question. I'm going to ask you guys, was this not originally presented on Facebook as a double-page spread? The superhero Fantastic team?
I think he just posted the panel and we probably assumed it.
Okay.
Yeah, he posted the panel. Without any context, so it was just an assumption we had all made.
Okay. So here the story continues, and this is where, like you said, like the original dragon was Flash Mercury. And it doesn't really explain where they all went, but they all vanished, so old Paul just decides to become the new dragon.
Young Erik Larson decided he wanted to move on. So, super fantastic hero team disappears.
Dudes, the mental man.
Well, I want to point out that this panel with the costumed William is straight out of, that story arc.
Yeah, I forget which issue, but that's definitely.
I mean, whoever keeps track of all the self homages is gonna have a fucking field day with this issue.
Yeah,
because it is full of them,
which is great.
Friend of the show, Mark Welser, was like, "Dude, is this whole issue swipes?"
I don't think it's the whole issue. I think some very specific things are. But yeah, you're right. Mental Man. We get Star. Of course,
very awesome.
I think Paul mentioned in previous issues that Star is like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think what's his name was ever Star.
Yeah, he tells you right here, like him and Paul, or him and Star.
Peter Clapton.
Yeah, they married twins.
Yeah, it's Chris Robinson, drummer in the prog rock band.
Right, Chris. It is Chris Robinson, but he's white.
Yeah.
That Snapping Granny and the No Biscuits. It's great. It's
absolutely ridiculous.
Strippers named Candy and Sugar.
It is funny how like William Johnson is basically like a Hulk. He can just bulk up, but he still felt the need to like wear a dragon costume to kind of fill that void that
branding
Flash Mercury left behind.
He's got the utility belt and everything, dude. Here's Jim's favorite panel out of the whole thing.
Oh right, yeah, Fonzie in the fridge. Holy shit!
Yeah, that panel's messed up.
It is, but the idea that Fonzie just is absolutely. It comes into William's home and just eats all his food. Fucking gremlin, that Fonzie.
Jawa gremlin.
But yeah, you're right. So the word balloon is pointed at William, but it should be pointed at
Chris Robinson.
Chris Robinson, yeah.
Yeah,
I know what confused Jack. If it was Jack who does the balloon arrows, it's that they're both pointing to Fonzie.
Yeah.
So what's funny is when I first read it, it didn't register as a problem.
No.
I was like, later I was like, oh.
I gotta say, Chris Robinson is like a real like weirdo because he says that's Fonzie, William. That cat is out there. Let me introduce you. Cat is out there.
He's a musician.
Yeah. Okay. Is that how you talk?
I mean, it's still vaguely 70s. Look at Flash Mercury's
He's got a
pants.
Personal guru.
Yeah.
So what's up with Candy and Sugar?
I love it.
What's up with their faces? Those are not Larson faces.
Photo reference.
Photo reference confirmed, dude. Yeah. What was it? One of the Finheads was like, it feels like some of these were drawn by a different guy. And Erik was like, I use photo references here and there.
I love how he didn't change this from his old school, like the names Candy and Sugar.
I'm moderately curious if they were like based on actual like actresses or strippers, which is why he used a photo reference.
I gotta read this little blurb from when Erik did this little oral history. He says, beginning with Sergeant Marvel's greatest comics, the dragon was William Johnson, who turned into the dragon and tugged on a costume. Dragon had a girlfriend named Candy, and his crime-fighting partner was Star, a white guy named Chris Robinson, who had a girlfriend named Sugar. Pretty sad shit. That's what he said. Basically, pretty sad shit. I love that he kept it.
Yeah, don't shy away from it. That's what's cool, is that as you're reading this, it didn't feel like Erik putting a fresh new coat of paint on his old adventures. It seemed like just him drawing them. Yeah, just drawing him. He just drew it. So, help me out here, fellas. My brain didn't 100% comprehend what Fonte did with the baby.
All right, so here's how it works.
I know it comes out talking.
I will explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. Don't
Feisty,
interrupt
Jim.
while I explain it.
Okay.
He has accelerated their
Feisty,
age, so the child is now 2 years old. I think they're 2 years old. No, they're a little older than that. Whatever age they are, they've accelerated their aging. However, time has not passed. However, the child thinks the time has passed and has memories to account for the time that has passed, but time has not passed. Those events did not really happen. They only believe that they happened.
Okay, so
Confused
I gather
yet?
that there's a... No, I get it. But, like, I gathered that he did that later on in the issue. But why did he choose to do it here?
Because, in superhero comics, children are annoying to write, and you want them to get as old as possible, as quick as possible. That's why they turned Franklin Richards into a teenager in the 90s.
I mean, Fonte says it in the thing. He's like, you two weren't exactly looking forward to changing diapers and sleeping in 3-hour intervals. I did you a favor. He just thought he was doing him a favor because Fonte's fucking insane.
This Fonte is fucking awesome.
Yep.
He's a lot different than Image Universe Fonte.
He's great. Just a fucking insane wizard.
Yeah.
Just imagine, he's doing him a favor, getting all the way through the terrible twos without having to do any of the effort.
No diapers for you.
He's like a schizo homeless guy with powers, and Chris Robinson just thinks he's like a magical guru, but really he's just a crazy fucking lunatic with powers.
He makes it noble right here. He says, Candy. Yeah, William says Candy's going to be so pissed, and he goes, "You have a destiny."
No, he's a
duty.
A duty. Yeah,
a duty and a destiny.
Yeah, duty and he's got both. He got a duty destiny, but like he said, it's bigger than you can possibly imagine, bigger than you both.
Yeah,
and so it's like
he's like getting rid of a distraction.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. All right. Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's still a shitty thing to do without permission. But
he's crazy.
Well, he's an immortal wizard. His view on things is greater than ours.
Right. Yeah. These trifles. Can I
right.
say it's funny that Ralph, again, it's the same thing that we saw in the image you know, Ralph just fucking, witnessed
Wants his revenge.
Yeah, he's just trying to fucking take him out. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Which one of these heads is the Fiend?
The guy with the big eyes.
The yellow guy.
Yeah, it's in order.
He looks like the Fiend.
Oh, so it is in order.
So so let's do these real quick. So we got the Professor, who is what's his face in the box.
Possessor.
Oh, the
Possessor.
All right.
Yeah.
We've seen him before, Simon Kane.
Yeah, that's right. We got X-Ro 5, who's I guess is a robot.
We've seen him
before. He's
Have we?
actually on the cover. He's
Attack from Iraq.
Oh, that guy.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
X-Ro. Oh no, wait. X-Ro comes in during the Ralph.
Yeah,
fight.
he was up on the building. There's a cover of him like holding. Is it She-Dragon over his head or Dragon?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
So he was the robot guardian of Kane.
Yes.
He's the robot that kind of looked like Superman.
Kind of looked like Superman, and he was white then. Yeah, that's why I didn't recognize him.
Yep. Okay.
We got Animal, who we know.
We know Animal.
Bronze Man, who is the precursor to Overlord.
Lasers and gas.
Yep. Bloop, who we know. The Fiend.
This Bloop is a different kind of guy, isn't he?
He's red.
He's like a badass Bloop.
Kind of Metalman-esque, these guys.
Yeah.
They're color coordinated, and there's 3 of them. The Fiend, who looks weird, but you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yep. Then this
Rock Smasher. Character. Rock Smasher is. I don't think Rock Smasher could be anyone. I suppose.
No, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a gray Hulk with horns.
And then we get some heroes here.
Joseph Strange, who we've met.
These
the
are familiar
of.
people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sergeant Marvel, who we know intimately. Rock, who's red.
Red Rock.
And Shrew and Poison Dart, who maybe previous isn't Poison Dart. I thought she was Poison Dart with the mask.
I don't think she is.
Maybe they're both
no,
Poison Dart.
I think it's a different character.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, I think we never see, other than I think we see Flash Mercury again, but I don't think we ever see the superhero Fantastic Team ever again. Like, they disappear and they're gone.
Well, Powerhouse.
Well, other than Powerhouse, yeah. So
Bloop and his sinister siblings.
Zeke, we do.
So Bloop's sibling in the Image universe wasn't Jennifer Bloop's brother? Sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is here too.
So I'm saying, like, the one that's titty slapping Paul right in the face.
Well, here she's is it Susan?
Oh, it's Susan. So it is Susan.
Yeah.
So is Susan yellow, the yellow one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Susan is the one who slaps Paul in the eye with her tit.
By the way, Eric confirmed that was direct from the comics he made as a kid.
Well, the guy's putting strippers in his. The guy's putting strippers in his comic. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
Editor Gavin Higginbotham told me that Eric told him that his dad kind of laughed at it and it kind of made Eric, I guess, maybe embarrassed about that panel at some point when he was a kid. He showed him that or something, which I thought was pretty funny.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah, Candy has had too much.
This superhero stuff. Well, it was more like, as this page says, Paul has started to assert himself as a separate entity, and so William is kind of in the background. So Candy is kind of like they've drifted apart as a result.
Yeah, this is where Paul gets to say the line.
I don't think Paul is like an entity that has inhabited. I don't think Paul is an entity that has inhabited William's body. I think the act of changing into the dragon has created Paul. I don't think Paul ever existed before this point. Just that every time William becomes dragon, or Paul rather, just kind of forms more as a stronger and stronger entity and gives him like his own his own identity.
How do you explain their different personalities, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that it's the act of becoming a superhero. I guess it's like the mentality that William has to go through to be a superhero, and that has become its own entity.
I got my own theory.
Okay, lay it on us.
I don't think in his old comics that Dragon was ever an alien, but I don't think he ever had an origin for Paul Dragon, and maybe it's what Jim is saying. But I think if I had to tie it in now, because Paul Dragon's got to be an alternate version of our dragon, right? I think that the aliens somehow like beamed him down to Earth and he merged with William Johnson.
So like whatever whatever the Kerr equivalent was got beamed down and happened to intersect with William and merge them together.
Right, and that will explain how he's an alternate version of Savage Dragon.
That's a pretty good theory.
I think that's my theory. I mean, who knows? But it's still open ended. We never find out.
Yeah, it's good a theory as any.
Because it's weird. Because I mean, how do you kind of explain it? Him being an alternate Paul being an alternate version of Dragon. If
think about it like
he's
this.
Not an alien.
Think about it like this. You're a teenager writing these Dragon comics. You've gotten to the point where you no longer want Dragon to be a dude in a costume, but you don't want to lose all this like history. So, what's the solution? Well, you got to split him in two. Okay, so let's just say Paul is like a completely separate entity from William. So you can have both characters be two different guys. You can say the superhero personality is his own, and the William can go back to being himself.
No, I get that for this, but if you're trying to tie it in now with the regular Savage Dragon comic, which is totally like, how do you go ahead and explain? No, I don't know if you don't have to.
To me, that's a step further than is necessary. They are equivalent characters in the sense that they are both dragons that are superheroes. You don't need to like tie in like the specific minutia of like the Kerr and the Krylons.
I guess to me, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that because it seems like if he's going to share memories with our Savage Dragon, they've got to be like a related character.
He's definitely an alternate reality dragon because he gets his memories. I mean, you put your finger right on.
He's somehow related to
I understand what you're saying. You're saying is that you think or you believe or you need it to understand that in order for the memories to be compatible, you have to be like a genetic copy
or the same person,
some kind of version of it.
Parallel
not just another guy that looks kind of like Dragon, but is
from my point of view, it's not so much that you need to be quote unquote the same person. It's that you simply have to fill a role similar enough to be compatible.
Yeah.
Is there an example of what you're talking about?
Well, let's think about it like this. Let's think about it in DC Comics terms. I don't know.
No, I mean in the book. Is there a person in the book that is that way right now?
Well, it's kind of like Angel and what's her face here at the end. What's her name? She's not Angel. Maybe it is Angel. No, never mind. It's like it's like Overlord and the Bronze Man. If Overlord and the Bronze Man were, well, I guess they were both Antonio Seghetti, right? I don't know if we ever find that out.
Way, at least.
I guess you could say they were both Antonio, so I guess that doesn't qualify. They're just different armor. Like I'm not sure if it was clear if Chris got memories from both.
That's a good example. If like, you know, Chris Robinson remembers like the other Chris Robinson, but it makes sense that he would because they were both Star.
They were both equivalent characters, even though they come from completely different backgrounds.
To me, it makes sense that I don't know. It would just seem weird that Paul Dragon has all the very similar characters in his universe as our Dragon for them to be completely different entities, different, you know, maybe just have the coincidence of looking similar. I know what you're saying, Jim,
I say it's all down to coincidence. I mean, there are like stronger similarities. Certain characters have stronger ties, stronger similarities. But like, why does Paul have Dragon's memories? Why doesn't Paul have original Dragon's memories, like Flash Mercury's memories?
Let me ask you this question: if kind of Dragon's just a construct that ends up being its own entity, why does he have two toes? That's kind of weird.
Well, also, he wouldn't have Flash Mercury's memories because even in this book, it's established that Flash Mercury is different. Different
exactly.
from Paul. Yeah.
But good point about the two toes thing. I did not notice or even think about the two toes thing.
Yeah, he's a Kryllian.
Fair point.
He's a different kind of Kryllian because his fin is different, but on top of that, he doesn't have the healing factor, and we've not really seen him do the super aim.
And in this alternate reality, the Kryllians just look like that, probably. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like in Paul's reality, that's how Kryllians are.
Here's an example: Susan and Jennifer. They're ostensibly the same person, but they have different names.
Yeah, but that's just different names.
I was going to say, I don't think that's enough.
Just call them, they're the same. Like they have the same brother.
I think that the way it works is closer to like it's closer to the thing to where it's like if you are the same person, basically. Like even if you have those differences, like for instance, William Johnson wasn't a reporter in the Image universe, but I mean he was clearly William Johnson enough for that to be more or less the same kind of like guy, basically. Right. So the details don't so much matter. The name doesn't even necessarily matter, as we see with Jennifer and Susan.
And that's what I'm saying. It's more about roles. It's more about echoes, being echoes of each other.
I'm not saying I'm right or anything. That's just my theory. That's how it. I guess more than my theory. If I was going to do this, that's how I would make it work out.
Playing God. That's what you get for playing God, Craig. You just can't play God.
Yep, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we get to see the same story beat as in the Image universe, where Dragon can kind of hear, William Johnson struggling. Get me out of here, help! And so he asks Fonte to separate them. And, it's kind of awesome.
I think that panel is pretty much lifted too, right? That separation panel. There's a bunch of panels that even I feel like that panel with what's her name, Susan. I feel like that I've seen that. I think that's from her profile picture.
Well, it's even Fonte in the original Image U. It's Fonte who separates them.
Yeah,
he's like, let's end this. And separates them.
I can't remember the exact circumstances, but I think that's one of the last times Fonte interacts with Dragon in that universe.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, I'm done here, and that's the last time they ever saw him or something.
Yeah,
then we would see him again in the. Oh, that's right. That's right, because he was consumed by Horde, right? And he got
the
freed.
wicked worms. Yeah.
Right, and so once freed, he basically did this as a favor.
Yeah, he separated him and then took off. Hey, by the way, Jim, you see Battle Tank on the next page.
On the next page.
So that's not Battle
Tank. Oh, right.
The
Battle Tank.
SOS group.
We're a couple of pages back on that yet. But yeah, you're right. That's him. You're right.
See a bunch of characters.
Indeed.
Talking about pages that they're saying, him waking up and looking at the hands, and he's like, whoa, green skin. That's a swipe for sure, right?
I think so. I can't.
Absolutely. That's definitely from something.
One
of Dragon's many hospital stays.
Yep.
It's really cool that Johnson got to keep his powers.
Yeah, that's a nice twist. Again, we talked about this panel, we jumped out of sequence and talked about it, but I love the fact that William Johnson just gets to Hulk out anyway. There's just 3 Savage Dragons.
Well, there's the Incredible Dragon, and there's the Savage Dragon, and then there was the original Dragon.
Yeah.
So he's the Incredible Dragon. Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so fucking awesome.
I gotta say, I kind of prefer Smasher's outfit in this universe.
Really?
Yeah. I never thought the Stars and Stripe thing ever made sense, except for when she was in the SOS, because everyone wore it. The fact that she kept wearing it after the fact was always kind of why? Is it the only outfit you've ever? Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of dig these Wolverine colors on her.
I don't know that I do.
Big S for Smasher, perfect.
Right. Hey, who do you guys like better, Rita Meter Maid or Candy?
Rita.
I'm just saying, clearly William has a type.
See, certain
I didn't even think about that. She looks just like Rita Meter Maid.
Yeah, does Rita have this girl's memories? We should find out. Some characters just aren't built to last, I think is the takeaway here.
Who, Candy?
Yeah.
Rita's awesome, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Superhero.
She's a much better character. Rita's a character built to last.
So it looks like we got Flash, Mercury back, and Zeke, at least, from the Super Fantastic Hero team.
Yeah, the SOS forms. And it's super interesting because he even has the whole thing where the SOS has multiple headquarters. And he's in the Chicago chapter.
There's a couple of characters here that we saw in the graphic fantasy reprints, like that Flame guy. He was in a panel.
I was going to ask, who is he?
He's not named, but he's in a panel. And then the chick that's between Star and Zeke.
Uh-huh.
That's Major Victory. She's in a panel or two, and she's in that like spread where he like numbers all the silhouettes on Graphic Fantasy. She shows up a couple of times. The African American woman with like the afro, she shows up in Graphic Fantasy, but no name. Oh, and Half Man's here too.
Yeah, Half Man returns.
The Tiger, Super Patriot, Horridus.
Zeke
Nico.
is back.
Yep. I don't know that guy with the cape, the red cape.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Graphic Fantasy as well, but he doesn't get a name.
I was going to ask who he is. Damn, you got me.
The Tiger. She's in SOS. We've seen her before.
She's the one beside Paul's foot, right?
Yeah, and she showed up in the regular series as a member of the SOS.
Well, she was she's Sergeant Marvel's girlfriend.
Exactly. Yep.
And,
is their headquarters shaped like a C on its side or an H?
I mean, it's definitely it's got a shape, but I don't know if it's like a letter of their name. It's like an H, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So this demonoid page.
Yeah.
So Craig, before the show, was convinced that this was an homage or a lift of a previous appearance of this big demonoid, and it is not. It is an completely original drawing. However, we have seen this exact double page spread with a large demonoid 3 times in the past.
Right.
And I've put them in our Discord chat if you guys want to look at them. The first time we see it, actually it's really funny. The first time we see it isn't even in the Savage World universe. It's in a flashback with young Malcolm back in the Image universe. Mighty Man is basically, this thing has come out of the ground and the SOS is fighting it, and Malcolm has gotten caught in the middle, and Mighty Man is grabbing him out of danger. We also see Hercules and Super Patriot and Kid Avenger. This is the first time we see this guy. Then we see another big one, fighting Malcolm in the big double page spread. Every sequence is a double page spread issue 199. We see Malcolm fighting him along with Battle Tank and others. And
Ineffectual cops.
Ineffectual cops, indeed. And then we get this one in this universe. So this is a recurring thing that keeps happening in every universe.
But the one in 194 is exactly the same creature. The one in 199 looks different, but this one is
true. It has
pretty much spot on.
Yeah, his head could be mirrored.
Yeah, it has the same spikes, the same spike configuration.
Layout, yeah.
All right, so I think we don't know Afro Woman's name, but I think we can guess at her powers now. She's a size shifter because she is very big on this creature's finger.
Yeah, she's huge, right?
Yeah. So she's.
I like how we see old school Mighty Man, like we saw him in Megaton.
Wait a minute. Is he the one flying in at the top?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, cool.
Like
so that's who he
costume from Megaton 3, I think it is.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
2 or 3.
Cool.
He fights Vanguard.
Yeah.
In Megaton.
I was wondering who that was.
2.
Awesome.
And then I like how Battle Tank has like the tank wheels on his legs.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Dude, Paul still using the utility belt.
Yeah, of course. Very handy thing. Hey, look. John Day exists in every universe, too.
Where's John Day?
Bottom right. You don't see him? Bottom right?
I see legs in the bottom right-hand corner.
All right. Look at Star. You see Star in the bottom right?
I do.
Oh, okay. So, that's weird. Okay, you guys are looking at the picture I posted. It's cropped for some reason. Weird.
The issue is cropped. You can't see. Is John Day's face drawn?
Oh, fucking. Digital? Okay, so the digital copy I got has uncropped art on the right hand side. John Day is there. That's John Day's leg.
Oh, okay.
His head's been chopped off. Whoops.
All right. Hey, it's a risk of drawing things to bleed.
Yeah.
What's funny that's John Day, though. That's hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, this image is awesome, and it's really cool to see the SOS taking on like the demonoids. At this point, it's so funny because I remember that we complained that the demonoids were kind of throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, with the Demon King and then what's about to happen, I feel like demonoids are fucking a lot cooler than I thought.
Yeah, before
they are presented as like an omnipresent threat.
Right. As I was going to say, before we recorded, Jim kind of made the point that they show up in the old Image universe. They show up in, the current post-Savage World universe, and now they're showing up in Paul's universe.
Yeah, and check out Madman Fonte. Craig, this has got to be pretty satisfying for you. I thought of you when I saw this. I was like, oh, Craig's gonna shit, dude.
Yes. Using his powers again to further increase the age of Mark and now Peter. Which here, Peter, like back in the day, before he was called Destroyer, Erik called him Gorgon, which he modeled his look on Herb Trimpe's Gremlin character.
But who are you talking about?
Gorgon, who is the messed up Johnson twin.
Okay.
Is now Destroyer.
Because here's my thought. These guys kind of look like the Defenders. They look like Namor, the Hulk, and Doctor Strange.
You don't say Namor?
Namor, yes.
What do you say? You say Namor?
I kind of said Namor, but that was more of a mistake.
Okay.
Namor. Submariner. Damn it.
Raven was ready to end his friendship with you for a second. I heard it in his voice.
No, I was just surprised. He said Namor, and I was like, Namor? What?
I've been saying it wrong all these years.
Yeah. I was like,
is
that the right way?
Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but they kind of seem like the Defenders in this panel.
He's probably heavily influenced. In his old write-ups, he was saying that, looking at it, that Peter, the Destroyer character, the grayish Hulk-looking guy, his face does resemble like the Gremlin character, which was a villain in Hulk, drawn by Herb Trimpe at the time. But this is all around that time where just Defenders were huge, and I think Erik was pretty into them. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's got a heavy influence from that.
Boy, these kids are bloodthirsty. They get powers and immediately both fly into this fucking
fly into their eyeballs.
Right.
I wonder if the two-toed Gorgon thing is what got Erik to start thinking about giving Dragon two toes in the Image book.
Oh, he's got two toes too. Oh, yeah. That's part of that whole theory that these kids are actually like half dragons.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's cool is
it's more emphasized here because you can see he has two toes.
Dude,
Right.
This is what is so satisfying. I'm telling you, it's like one satisfying thing after another with this issue, because like here you get to see some ugly twin, attractive twin, stuff. And look at the two toes. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, he's like a dragon baby."
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen ugly like Johnson twin's feet in the regular Savage Dragon universe.
Right.
Well, also he didn't turn out gray.
That's true.
And he really didn't turn out that ugly. He's just got like a wrinkle on his nose these days.
But, he had the first kid when William's personality was more predominant, and then the second kid came along when Paul's personality was more predominant.
Right.
And I guess
it's awesome.
This big battle with the demonoids was yet another magic bullshit thing. Wizard duel.
No, that's what's so cool, dude. And like that's what I was saying is that like the suggestion. Okay, So this is a flashback issue. That is true. However, it's a flashback issue of a parallel universe. Mm-hmm. And so, to me, a brilliant thing that is done here that Erik does with this is that it is suggested that the demonoids have a sorcerer who is powerful enough to rival fucking Fonte. And dude, to me, that is huge. Like, that is insanely huge, because Fonte is one of the most powerful characters in the book, in the book's 30-year history. And so the fact that the demonoids might just have their own Fonte, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it seems like this giant demonoid was just a spell the wizard was doing.
Yeah.
And because we see both Fonte and the small demonoid knocked out in the street. We also see the demonoid's dingling. Could point that out. And Fonte has been turned into a human. Which,
worse. He's
crazy.
Been cursed.
Well, he's been cursed as a human. And also he can't talk right.
Can't talk right. Yeah, can't do his incantations anymore.
He's got aphasia.
I'm talking about like the power for this demonoid sorcerer to fucking curse Fonte to where Fonte can't be fucking Fonte anymore. That's fucking crazy. This is the same character who made Mighty Man. I mean, dude, that's fucking nuts. I don't know. To me, it's a huge, like a bombshell tucked away in this little Paul flashback is, oh, by the way, fucking demonoids have their own Fonte level guy. That's fucking huge to me, anyway.
I mean, they did.
Well, maybe still in our current universe.
It could be an equivalent. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, that's the megaton bomb in this issue. Is it like, Fonte's not likely to show back up or anything, but it's like, dude, the demonoids are still kicking around. And you got the fucking Demon King running around.
I wonder, though, if he is going to come back. So let me ask you a question.
Well, here's the thing. The last time we saw Fonte, what he said specifically was, "You will not see me again."
But that was another universe.
No. I'm talking about the backup in Savage Dragon 100, I think, where they recap how the Possessed arc went. Because remember, the Savage World Dragon gets possessed, goes on a rampage. Mace isn't there to stop him, so he goes on a longer rampage. Winds up going all the way back to Horde. And just as he gets to Horde, he finally manages to shake off the mind control, so he beats the shit out of Horde, freeing Fonte. And Fonte tells that dragon, "You will not see me again." Of course, that version of Dragon has been dead a long time. In fact, Dragon is also dead. So it's entirely probable, entirely possible, Fonte will return in the future.
Like he was literally talking to Dragon when he said, You won't
see me again, right. So now he's gone. So now it's open for Fonte to come back.
Clever little wrinkle, Jim. Clever little twist, dude.
Do you think when Fonte told William Johnson that he's got a destiny bigger than he can possibly imagine, that he was referencing Paul Dragon coming into the Malcolm's universe and doing something?
Yes. That seems likely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that Paul has a big role to play. I don't think his role is just to marry Alex and have a metal arm. I bet Paul does something awesome. It's exciting. I mean, here's what's so crazy. This is a flashback issue, and part of me as I read this, I was thinking, man, this is so good. Like, I fucking love this. And then I was like, but it is a flashback issue. That's kind of a little bit of a, he doesn't really do these too much. Like, it's a little bit of a bummer, maybe. But then as I started to realize, dude, there's implications laid down left and right for the future of the book in these pages. And so, dude, Paul could absolutely do something huge and crazy. Who fucking knows? By the way, I remember finger banging.
I was waiting for you to say that.
That is the funniest fucking shit of all time, dude. Did that still happen or no?
No, it's just a memory.
It's just a memory, dude.
She's still your old age, unfortunately.
It's also crazy. I wanted to point out that Fontee's age tricks, where he ages them up, but they're allowed to have their memories. It's also very similar to the merging of the multiple Earths, where everyone shares memories.
Yep.
It's just these cool little parallels and wrinkles, dude.
Oh, and again, I saw you posted those panels from Savage Dragon 100, Jim. He says, "You'll never see me again." So, yeah, it just means Dragon will never. It doesn't mean Paul won't.
I'll be honest, that is actually the way I interpreted it at the time, and it's kind of been a long bomb sort of thing for me.
Really?
Fonte would return someday once Dragon was gone.
Like Dragon is blind and Fonte flies by and is like, "Hello."
Finally, he's gone. I'm back.
And yes, he does essentially say the same thing way back in Savage Dragon 58.
I gotta say, on this next page where like Paul and Susan are holding Angel, and then the next panel is him like fighting Vanguard, and then it references like see Megaton 3 and 4. I was like, dude, that's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, now we're into the stuff that we've seen before.
Right. That panel is a direct swipe, pretty much.
Oh, it looks like it. You can really tell that it we'll have to do it more side by side, but it kind of looks like it's reuse because Vanguard looks a little weird.
I thought it looked good, but
it looks good.
I think he cleaned up the buildings a bit, but everything else is pretty much, when you compare them, is dead on.
So is the it seems like Paul and Susan, where he's like, and then we had plans to get married. We thought we should make it official. Doesn't that kind of look a little bit like that one Savage Dragon cover?
Yeah,
I think it's dead on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Same thing with the death of Susan. And that push, Bronze Man is almost...
Paul's shocked face is very good.
Yeah, the little shorthand shocked face. Yeah, it's great.
Duh.
Go! You see your soulmate get her like crotch blasted off.
A little more than just our crotch, like our whole body.
I should have given Susan the invincible underwear. Yeah,
I
and
love
we
this
read.
because go ahead. Sorry.
No, or go ahead. Good. You're saying.
No, you.
Well, I was going to say this is the one we read in the graphic fantasy reprint,
right?
Where he tracks down Bronze Man and then finds out he's dead, right?
Yeah, these poses are basically recreated.
But I mean, that's the story it's referencing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's what the box says, but I wanted to make sure.
You can kind of tell that a lot of these panels are kind of reused because, the paneling style has changed on these pages. Yeah. Do you see it? How it's like a little bit more like everything is very like neat in boxes.
Yeah, it's traditional.
But like it wasn't like that through most of the rest of the issue. I don't know. It just kind of stands out to me.
There's a lot of full bleeds on the other pages.
We do find out that Angel grows up to be a superhero in this universe, so that's a thing for her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you liked Susan, if you liked her costume, do you like Angel's costume?
I don't like it as much. No, it's
different. Yeah.
I'll be honest; it's appropriate for this universe.
The brown.
It's goofy. It's a goofy costume a child would make. Sorry, Eric. That may have been ruder than I intended.
And so Paul is not that different than fucking Dragon at all. Because here we have the reason why Paul wound up. This is cool, dude. We have the reason why Paul wound up in fucking Dimension X to begin with. He's looking for fucking Jennifer.
Mm-hmm. It's a very...
Goddamn, dude. If Smasher in some way ruins Alex and Paul's marriage, I'm going to be so mad. Alex finally got her happy ending. I'm just saying. And Paul.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's also interesting because I think the implication is this universe was destroyed. So Paul goes into Dimension X. All right. And then the merging of the multiverse occurs. And the only reason why Paul wasn't affected by it was because he was already in Dimension X. So this universe has been collapsed into the others.
Was that confirmed?
It's how I'm believe that this works.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if we'd confirmed that Paul's universe was gone.
No, I think we had.
Although it does raise a question, I don't believe Angel has mentioned that she has memories from this universe. She's mentioned she has memories of the other Angel that was, Glum's girlfriend. But not this Angel, so.
Wait, you're right, because the Bionic Man remembers being the Bionic Man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's several characters who remember. I mean.
Correct. I'm just saying that you are correct. It hit me. I was like, oh, wait, that's an example that you can point to where he's like, yep, in this universe, I'm a normal guy. Cool. Very cool. Goddamn, what an issue. I mean, holy
What an
shit.
issue, yeah. And actually, I think some of these panels with Rex Dexter are also lifted from when Dragon went into Dimension X the first time to go find, who was he going to find? He was going to find, No. He was going to Dimension X.
Dexter's daughter.
Dexter's daughter, right.
Right. Yeah, you must save my baby. Oh, don't forget. He kept putting it off for a while there. Yeah. I'll save your kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think like 6 years passed and he missed 9/11.
I think the SOS headquarters is like a low building with two off to the left.
Yep.
Sort of raised, because that's what's behind Angel.
Yep. Looks like a big H, exactly. H for hero.
Boy, I gotta tell you, like, what a fucking issue, guys. Holy
what a crazy
shit.
Good issue. And it's just such a non-traditional issue. I think I said this on the Facebook group. I think this is my favorite issue of Savage Dragon.
Ever?
I think it really is.
Whoa.
More so than any of the other like experimental issues, more so than any like the plot related issues. I honestly think this is my favorite.
Is it the condensed storytelling that's getting you, or
it's two reasons. One, it's how condensed it is. It tells a complete history without feeling like it's like bogging itself down with a lot of, even though it is all narrated, even though it is all like snippets, it feels coherent and it feels like a story because it's Paul's story, as the cover tells us. And and it feels like Paul is going through he's going through an emotional journey.
Yeah.
Just to tell us how he's gotten where he is. But I think it also kind of plays into my love of alternate realities. I love alternate reality concepts. I love Earth 2. I love Age of Apocalypse. I love Marvel's What If. I love Elseworlds. I always have. I always
Doctor
will.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
I did. It's actually my favorite MCU movie. As crazy as that sounds.
For that reason.
Well, part of that reason. It's also a Sam Raimi movie and also very good for that reason.
Sure.
But part of it. It's part of it. And this has the added wrinkle that it's not just an alternate reality. This is Erik's childhood universe that he created as a precursor to Savage Dragon. And that gives it the edge over all other books of this type.
Yeah. I gotta say, dude, as I was reading this, as someone who actually has his own childhood hero comic adventures and like kept making them into his adulthood, and I have just sort of like hand waved and ignored most of the things I did. The crazy cool thing about this is that, and Savage Dragon has this, Connor Tierney, friend of the show, Super Freaks contributor, has mentioned that one of the things he likes is that in Savage Dragon, everything counts. Like, he meets Superman, he meets Superman. It's not throwaway. Mars Attacks the Image universe, everyone else forgot it. It was pivotal in Savage Dragon. And so what's fucking so awesome about this issue is that this issue takes those childhood comics that we never got to read. Like, we didn't read them, but we're familiar with them because it's been 30 years and we've seen hints and we've seen sort of reimaginings and we've gotten the graphic fantasy reprints. And so it's like we kind of are familiar with these like stories in this world that we never really got to be a part of. But then Paul shows up, and at first it was just like a kind of a cool nod. It's like, oh shit, the original Savage Dragon's in Savage Dragon now. That's cool. Then we get this like history in 20 pages of those childhood comics. And it's like, hey, guess what? That shit all happened, and that shit all matters, and it all counts. My childhood comics are continuity. They're canon. It's fucking over the top, dude. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's, you know, he did it early on where he took his childhood concepts and made issues out of it, but did it like maybe in quote unquote more, you know, professional or adult way. I just love that he took everything from his childhood comics and just left it the way it was.
Yeah.
And it works. And it's a little silly and ridiculous, but that's what Dragon is sometimes, and that's what I love about it, is that it just is all over the place. You know, it can be serious, but it can also be ridiculous, and that's you can do anything with comics, and to have a comic that does everything in one title, and you can still follow along and it's still great, you know, is what other comics can you think of that, you know, maybe besides like manga or Japanese, like American comics where it's like this varied and crazy in terms of superhero comics?
A lot of North American comics sort of became ashamed of the comics goofiness that was inherent in sort of Silver Age and Golden Age comics. And a lot of modern comic authors, you know, sort of became ashamed of stuff like Superman eating a pile of hamburgers, or, you know, Jimmy Olsen fucking somehow is able to, you know, do something ridiculous or whatever. It's just like that kind of like charming child. Because again, the history of superhero comics is they did start out as children's entertainment. And so they were aimed at the imagination of children. And it didn't so much matter how things happened, just that they were entertaining. And then as the fan base aged, it sort of got to where, I mean, older geeks like to overanalyze. We've been doing this podcast for 10 years. We like to overanalyze and think. But it's like, unfortunately, with that, you know, desire to become more serious and, you know, have things explained and fully fleshed out, and, you know, you sort of like writers shy away from the goofy silliness or whatever else. They have to make things feel mature and explained and grounded in science. Even if it's fantastic, it needs to have somewhat of a ground or a basis. And like you said, these are childhood comics. You got Fonzie is just a crazy ass wizard who's just digging through a refrigerator. You got a guy marrying twins. You got a hero meets another hero, and he's like, hey, guess what? You know, my girlfriend has a sister, and they're twin strippers named Sugar.
Also a stripper.
Yeah, who is also a stripper. And it's just like,
my characters need to age up so I can use them.
Right. I don't want to write stories with kids, so let's just make them old. It's like, what? No, it's brilliant. And I didn't want to, like, you know, hog the mic for too long, but I just want to say real quick, I think another strength that this has is that it is a showcase for how excellent a single issue can be. It's a showcase for how excellent and exceptional condensed storytelling can be. I think that a lot of the modern comic writers write for the trade. So as a result, I think they, you know, enjoy writing decompressed stories. And I think that as a result, a lot of people I talk to comic readers who don't see the value in a single issue anymore. They don't even think that singles are worth keeping around. I've heard people make the argument that the format's outdated and whatever else, and it's like, dude, this book, this issue right here is just a testament to just how fucking incredible 20 pages of story can be. So it blows my mind. It's like a showcase not just of this character, but of the power of the fucking medium itself.
Well said.
Well put.
Well, fuck. I didn't mean to throw a cherry on top there. You guys got anything else you want to say about the main story?
I said my piece.
Yeah, I think we should move to this backup, which is fucking awesome.
That's really cool, really fun. I like the kids having adventures.
I love it.
So this is Dagger by Simon Willett St. Pierre.
Yeah, Simon's cartooning is fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm glad. I saw this story a while ago, and he showed me. He gave me a sneak peek and didn't know if it was ever going to show up in the book. And I was like shocked that it didn't, because it's been a while. So I'm glad to see that it finally made its way to the pages of Savage Dragon, because I think, like Jim said, it's just great seeing the children adventures, and his style fits so well with it.
Yeah, dude, and Simon's sense of humor is fantastic, and I mean it fits Erik's so well.
Right.
And so, like, the colors, the art, the cartooning, the lettering. I mean, this is some expressive-ass lettering. Everything about this backup is like 10 out of 10, dude. I fucking love it.
I want to know why Dagger has a 1 on his chest and, what's his name? Door has a 19.
I
want to know.
Point. I didn't even think about that.
It's just not explained. It's one of those little, like, story wrinkles you're just going to have to wonder. And then it doesn't end there. I mean, like, we get Simon's, like, got a little pinup in the back. And then, like, he's the Finn on the back of the book.
Yeah.
It's just stylish as hell, dude.
It's such a wild back cover. It's like, who would have thought just to put the Finn like that?
Dude, I'm just going to praise Simon. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I fucking, am thankful that we got him for Super Freaks. And, he's just a hell of an artist. I mean, he's funny. He's nice, a talented writer. Yeah, just a nice guy, nice character. And it's like, dude, just fantastic. Like you said, Craig, like, if you had told me, I'll just say, like, as a cartoonist, like, I couldn't have pulled this off. I couldn't have made just a Finn interesting. It's a fucking interesting ass back cover. It's great. Just fucking my hat's off. Like, fucking between Erik and Simon, this is. I said it's one of my favorite Savage Dragon issues in a long fucking time, and it's probably going to be like one of the best comics I read this year.
Yeah. It's just, there's so much to pour over in this issue, and then to get a dragon-centric backup that's just well done is just the cherry on top, too, to steal your phrase.
Oh, dude.
But good letters pages, too. I don't know if we want to dig into that at all, but I don't know. This whole book, like, that's why one of the main reasons I love doing this podcast, too, is just, like, it gives us the opportunity to go back and reread it and think it through.
Yeah. And
just the sheer amount of enjoyment, even as we're talking during this FINcast and catching things that we didn't catch on our first read, that's like, oh shit, that makes sense, or whatever. And it's like, I'm hoping it's not just a happy accident and Erik's, thought all of these things out, because it's just incredible to think that he's playing 3D chess with us guys.
It's honestly, it's just astonishing. And even talking as good as it was, like, even after, like, we reviewed it together, I'm just blown away. Jim, I didn't pick up on that Demonoid double page spread, that one woman's power was that she could grow. And you pointed that out. And then, Craig, you're talking about, like, that's Mighty Man in the upper right-hand corner. Like, that's just shit I wouldn't have even gotten on my own. So it's like, fuck yeah, dudes. I love talking Savage Dragon with you guys because, holy shit, there's always something to pick up, some detail. It's just like, this is a book with a 30-year history, and it just effortlessly flexes that shit all over the place. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it an 11 out of 10.
Yeah, it's about right.
This shit here, to me, is perfect Savage Dragon. Perfect.
I think your average reader that maybe has never picked up a Savage Dragon have a tough time with it.
This may not be the best first issue.
For longtime fans, I think this is a 10 or 11 out of 10. I think for the casual reader, it's not going to be, and that's okay. But man, I don't know. Erik just keeps it interesting, and that's what I love about this book.
You don't think the self-contained nature would help a new reader?
I think a new reader would be thrown off by the kind of childishness. We know the whole background of this.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I guess.
I think if you gave this to someone to review, they'd be like, "What is this bullshit?" Like we were just saying, candy and sugar and dragon getting punched with a tit or whatever. Like knowing the background of it and knowing the Paul character and everything like that. If you gave this to a new reader, they would be like, they wouldn't know what to make of it.
What's sad, though, is I think that they wouldn't know what to make of it only because I feel like there's been so much like push towards decompression and cinematic and things reading like television. And this reads like a comic through and through. And I think that's the only thing. I think that if you had somebody who could appreciate just like, hey, here's 20 pages that are just jam fucking packed with story. Like a million
wacky craziness.
Yeah, like a million fucking things happen in this issue. I think that person could appreciate it. But yeah, I think you're right. Probably the super serious types would be like, "Whoo, he is getting hit with a titty,"
But this is one of the most fun issues I've had of Savage Dragon reading and just enjoying page by page.
Yeah.
And I was so the anticipation, it was like I was worried it was not going to pay off. I think Jim mentioned he thought was it going to be like 3 or 4 pages of background of in a Malcolm centric book, or we didn't know what we were going to get. So to get like a whole standalone issue, not tied to anything else going on in Savage Dragon, it was fun.
Yeah, it was very cool. I guess on the next issue of Savage Dragon 265, The Samurai Strikes. Malcolm Dragon faces the leader of the vicious circle at last. Showdown with the deadly samurai. Savage Dragon comes with our highest possible recommendation. And would you guys say that is probably the best comic yet?
Best comic yet by the cover. Punch to the balls.
Well, it has got a fucking tall mountain to climb with 264 in front of it, but I guess we will see.
It is very true. So thank you once again, everyone, for listening to the Savage FINcast. You, of course, can always message us at savagefincast@gmail.com or on our website, savagefincast.com. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, Anchor FM, Spotify, and YouTube. So until next time.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.